Hiya. Hello, welcome to our tutorial where we will teach you how to make this backpack. As you can see, we have made a couple of different backpacks. This one is Finley's old backpack.
Yeah.
It weighs 600-ish grams. This was my old backpack, which weighs
420
400
grams.
And this is the new one that weighs 250 grams. It's made of, main material is 300 denier pack cloth from Dutch Wear Gear, and it's pretty much all made out of that apart from these yellow highlights which are leftover X-Pack X21 RC fabric. It's slightly bigger than the other pack. I think that it's 40 litres to the very, very brim and 25 to the shoulder straps. So it's a little bit bigger than the past backpacks because that's what I wanted to do. It's got a different pocket design, so it has, instead of the old
Elastic pockets.
old elastic pocket, it has one giant pocket that goes all the way around. It also has some interesting straps, so the straps are bigger than they were previously. They're 4 inches wide, huge over the shoulders, and it's got a whole bunch of different pockets going on them. And we will do a quick little cut to show you what it looks like being worn in a second. I hope you enjoy and it inspires you to make some gear, because it's not very difficult. This is what it looks like being worn. Big bottle pockets. Is it sitting nicely? Yeah, it's looking good. You've got reach around all the way round, and a little underside pocket here. And I'm going to show you what the bottles look like. So the bottles, nice and strong. Things that I forgot to mention in the intro video that I want to include. So, the thread we used throughout was Gutterman Terra 60, which is 100% polyester monofilament thread, which has seemed really strong. Used it on the last backpacks, used it on this one as well. The plans for the backpack will be in the description, and if you dig around on our channel you can probably find the plans for the old backpacks as well. Check out Reddit r/myog, make your own gear. It's a brilliant subreddit which is all about making things, particularly backpacks, particularly ultralight focused equipment, so go check it out. Also, all of the seams on the backpack are felled, which means they're really strong, so that's a good thing. I'll show you how to do that in the video. The backpack actually has a Palante style bottom pocket there. It also has a Palante style track pocket that I didn't make big enough, which isn't very functional, but you just need to make your one bigger when you do it. The backpack straps are made out of 3mm EVA foam. It seemed like quite fancy foam. I bought a bit of it. It seems really nice. I've got the foam and pretty much all of the buckles and webbing and all that sort of stuff from Adventure Expert, which is a European company. The webbing is 15mm, and that's used throughout. The only place that I didn't use 15mm was a 20mm cross grain for some of the weaker reinforcements. Dutch Wear Gear was where all the pack fabric was from, apart from the yellow stuff. I think I said that already. That's from the US. I had to pay import fees on that, which is a bit of a bum. And I think that sums up everything that I forgot to say in the last video. We are at the beginning of the design stages. We've been thinking about the design for a long time, but
Since our last walk, really, we've been thinking about how we're going to improve the backpack.
But now the actual initial plans are made. We've already cut out the brand new shoulder straps, which we'll probably cut in after this video, but they're looking really cool. So we're going to just talk about the changes from the previous backpack
To the new one.
So the main change is the actual construction. So previously it was a 4-panel design, so it's 4 rectangular panels. Now it's going to be a 3-panel design, so the front panel and the side panels are integrated into one big panel. And instead of having 3 separate pockets, the pocket is going to be a continuous pocket.
This should make it very easy to reach around from the front of your backpack and get into items that you're storing in your bag, making it a lot more usable for just one person, instead of having to stop on the trail and ask your partner to get something out of your bag.
Also, there's going to be simplifications to the thing, so we're going to have less strappy things going on, and there's going to be no more rear mesh pocket. It's going to be hard fabric, not different types of fabric.
With a pleated bottom.
Yeah, also the bottom pocket is here to stay.
We do like it, it's good for food and snacks and whatnot.
Except there's going to be an addition of a trash pocket like in some other backpacks. So getting into specifics, constructionally different things. So this also had a split back panel. So the back panel was made out of 2 components, 2 pieces of fabric, and they were joined here with this V-shaped piece.
This time it's going to be one continuous piece of fabric, and it's going to be stitched. There's going to be a piece of X-pack going here, so everything else is being made out of a lighter fabric.
Quite a lot lighter.
Yeah, this is going to have a square of X-pack going in here.
Just to add the strength, because this is where all the load from the shoulder straps goes, so we need to make sure we have reinforcements to prevent it ripping or tearing on the trail.
Yeah. This haul loop is going away. Instead, we're going to be using this over the top loop as a haul loop because it's plenty strong enough. This haul loop, instead of attaching to a
little
point
stitched
here,
on there.
the peak of these two bits will come up the pocket and it'll be attached straight to the pocket, so that should provide some tension on the pocket, so it doesn't matter if it's not super tight. And
there's changes here. We're not going to have this zigzag because we just found ourselves never really using it. Instead, we're going to have just a single thread that goes all the way around the top for hanging our solar panel and our wet clothes on while we're walking.
with regards to the straps, so these straps are based off another backpack that I own, but they're attached quite close to the centre of the backpack. So these are going to be moved outwards towards the edges, just to make it less further away from your neck. It's still going to be the same design of strap in terms of it'll be what's called the sock method, which you'll see.
Yep.
But basically, it's two pieces of fabric sewed together, and then you force the foam into it, which we'll do.
We're also switching away from this kind of semi-afterthought pocket water bottle attachment system to an actual sewn-in pocket, lycra pocket to hold the water bottles, which should be much securer. And we'll have like a little bits and bobs pocket on there as well to store your phone and whatnot.
Everything's going to be pretty much 15mm webbing, no 20mm. This bit had bits of 20mm on it. Let's talk about some of the componentry that we're changing. So this had a beautiful metal hook, not as sexy, but we're going to go with this plastic metal hybrid hook. That was just what was available from where I was ordering from. We've also got nicer ladder locks, so the last ladder locks failed a little bit here. Hopefully that's going to be changed. We're using nicer ladder locks, but we're going to go with a forked design of rope. Actually, I think it goes like this, so hopefully that should be a little bit more
And
distribution.
completely scrapping the, well, not used by you at all, hip belt.
Yeah. Also, so this has got some nice, it's okay, I got it. It's got some punched hole drain holes. These punch holes, these grommets are also used in the bottle pockets. That same idea is going on. You can buy these in kits. It's really cheap. I think it's like a £7 kit. And it's got loads of things in it. So grommets, and also still using the line locks for what little thread attachment we're going to have. Also, this bag had quite a strong reinforced top section. That's going away. We're just going to go
roll it over
head
a couple
edge.
of times.
Still no attachment point, so this is just an open and then you roll it. That worked fine last time. So yeah, let's talk about the specifics of the backpack now. So we have so this is the back panel, which is actually up against your back. That's going to be the interior dimensions is going to be, or the finished dimensions will be 80 by 28. So the last backpack was 26 across, so this is bigger across, same height. These dimensions on this are a little bit bigger because of seam allowance, so there's 3 centimeters of seam allowance at the top and 1 centimeter on either side and 1 centimeter on the bottom. There's extra seam allowance on the top because this is going to be a roll edge, so you need more. This is the front and side panels all integrated into one, no seams, should be super waterproof. Bottom is so the side panels on the old backpack, which is here and here, were 16 centimeters. So it was a 26 by 16 centimeter cuboid square, rectangle. This time we're going for 28 by 18, so an extra 2 centimeters in both dimensions, and that's just because I think ultimately I'm going to be shifting towards some synthetic equipment, less down, and that's just going to make the whole bulk going up, so I'm making this bag a bit bigger. This is a little sketch of the reinforced piece which we made out of X-Pack. That is just sort of the same size as the offcuts of fabric I have. I'd probably made this a bit bigger if I had more. And then this is the pocket. So what I decided to do is on each individual panel add in an extra 10 centimeters. So this is the sort of side pocket here, what would be a traditionally separate side pocket, but this is all in one. So I'm going to add 10 centimeters, 10 centimeters, and 10 centimeters. And when we make it, we will pleat the, these are internal dimensions without seam allowance. This is the seam allowance measurements. It'll be pleated along the bottom, and these lines will line up with the corners of the backpack, so that will be sewn into the edge near the back. This one will be sewn into the front of the backpack. We'll see all this in detail when we're actually making it. But basically this is huge. If we have a look at the drawn dimensions, we can see what it looks like on the piece of fabric. So this is a sketch of the actual piece of fabric that we have, and this is how we're going to draw it out. This might not go here. We'll see, because we've also got to draw to put in the straps that we have sort of freehand drawn.
So here you've got the two different designs. So the one on your left is the new one that comes around onto the body a bit more, and we'll have the bottle pockets, and the old one curves under. Also fattened up the top of it, so hopefully it'll be more comfortable.
Okay, so here Connor's transferring the newspaper pattern which we made, drew out and then shaped onto his shoulder onto paper because it's a little bit more rigid and easier to work with, and then transfer onto the actual material.
Yeah, if you're going to do this, you definitely want to test it using this sort of cardboard thing you can feel. We'll show you what it looks like on a person. So this is last year's shoulder strap, this year's shoulder strap, and this is the interior foam for this year's shoulder strap. So as you can see, this year's is going to be way wider and more comfortable than last year's. This is the outside of last year's. Look how wide this is. First thing to do marking out the fabric is to mark out a really big, perfectly 90 degrees. So I'm going to use the square and big ruler thing to mark out a big 90-degree thing, which will use the basis for all of the future measurements. And we want to exclude the selvage, which is this little bit of fabric here, which you can't use. So the main 90's been marked out with Finn's help. Now I'm just going to sit down calmly and quietly mark everything up. Something important I've just remembered: when you're tracing out your strap patterns, you got to do two one side, then flip the strap pattern over, because your fabric's two-sided. So if you make them all the same way around, you'll have two of your straps back to front or inside out. Okay, so I finished marking up the 98% of the backpack on the black fabric. We've got a tiny little bit left to mark on the leftover X-pack from the previous backpack. But now we're going to show you a technique for making the bottle straps. So this is the template that I used earlier for the shoulder straps, and the plan is to have the bottle go something like this. So the first thing you're going to want to do is cut out the lower half of your pattern a second time. So let me finish doing that and we'll get back. Just measured how much fabric we actually want for the pocket, because we need extra fabric. If we made it the same width as this, then it would be too taut. We worked out we need 14 centimeters of fabric. This is only 10-ish centimeters. What I'm going to do is cut this in half along this line I've cut. And I made the line that I cut perpendicular to the top of the pocket. And the reason I'm doing this is because what I was going to do is add some more paper between these two things in width to make this entire piece 14 centimeters wide. Then the two edges will be the perfect contours of this thing, so that when I then sew the edges back in place in a minute, well, when I tack it to the thing, they'll follow the perfect contours. So I'll do that and it'll make more sense. So here is our enlarged pocket pattern, and I'm going to sketch this onto the elastic fabric in a minute, and then this will sit like so, stitched together. I've also left enough here to make a felled top, so we don't have raw fabric exposed. Welcome to day 2 of the project. I've just finished marking up all of the pockets on the stretch mesh this morning. So this is the bottom pocket, and these are the strap pockets. So I'm going to cut everything out. This is going to be a nervous moment of the project, and then we'll go to the workshop and begin the actual stitching. At the sewing machine setup, Grandma's trusty old sewing machine. We're going to start with the bottom pocket. Well, I show you this first, but that's what I'm personally starting with. Just because this is at the bottom, you can't really see it. I'm a bit out of practice, so if anything's going to go wrong, it's liable to be this bit. Important things to remember, so keep the insides and the outsides of the fabric the right way around. So what I'm going to do, and we'll break it down a bit more, is first of all I'm going to cut this piece of bungee to the correct size. Then this piece of bungee is going to be sewn onto here. This is the elastic mesh bottom pockets, Palante pack style. And then this whole thing is going to be tacked onto the bottom panel of the backpack. I'm also going to include a little trash pocket. So let's get to work. Try not to electrocute myself heat cutting the bungee. Always heat cut your everythings that could fray. We're going to sew the piece of elastic for the edge of the bottom pocket onto the outside of the elastic pocket. This is the inside because it's got the white marking on it. You want to use a zigzag stitch because otherwise it won't stretch, and when you sew these things that's stretchy, everything just stretches and it feels like it's all going to go wrong, but just go with it, it'll turn out fine in the end. I sewed that on, as predicted. In the middle, it got a little bit wahay with the elastic sort of behaving a bit differently, but fairly happy with how it turned out. You can see probably it's stretched a little bit more along the top. It's no longer perfectly parallel. That's okay. Next thing to do is stitch this to this. Now, we got to get this the right way around. This goes on the outside of the bag, so this is the inside with the white markings. You want to sew it onto this side. Finn just reminded me that I had forgotten to make the trash pocket, which is why I have him standing next to me. So what I've done is just tacked a little piece of bungee into the corner, and I'm going to roll it over a few times to get the appropriate sized bottle pocket. Let's see how it goes.
We're going to sew the two together now. Sewing that then, and it started to go a bit wrong, and I remembered that it's always good to put the elastic on the sewing machine downside, so I had to flip over about halfway through, and that helped. Keep going now. Just added some little bottom tags, some loops onto the bottom pocket. This is all done now. I think I'm going to move on to the back pocket, which has no elastic, so I'm going to enjoy that a bit more.